Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so I saw a video clip of The Chosen, and it's when Jesus is talking to two of his disciples. And one was being introduced to Jesus, and he never met Jesus, and Jesus started to tell him about who he was and what he believed and what he'd done. He prayed under the tree. And he had cried out and said, why don't you see me? Or do you even hear me? So on the right, I noticed a comment that someone said, and that's what this video is going to be about. So I want to make a little call out for a little bit of help with Sheena Marie. She's hurting with money right now, and I've been pretty slow on money because of my injuries, because of my surgeries. So there's a PayPal link right there in the description box. If you want, you can go ahead and make a donation. I will send it directly to her. What I'll also do is I'll make a video of it showing the receipt and her name on it and everything through Western Union. So I've got a PayPal link right there where you can always make a donation to help this channel. And right now I want to send any money you guys send me to Sheena Marie in the Philippines. She needs to get some medication is what it's for. Normally I would just send her the money, but I've had 2 surgeries, 2 accidents, and I have a 3rd surgery coming up, and so money has been a little bit difficult for me right now. Okay, so let's get to the video. I'm going to read off what she wrote and then what I wrote. So she said, "This always makes me emotional because I always find myself asking God, do you see me or do you hear me?" And she's got a bunch of crying emojis. And she says, "This scene is so touching." So a lot of times people think that God isn't listening to them or doesn't see them, or they wonder, does God see you or hear you? So here's my response to this lady. So I said, "You are asking the wrong question. The question is, do you see God? Do you hear God? Silence in your heart and mind and stay still. Clear your mind to nothingness, and then you will hear God, see God, and know God. And then you will realize God has always heard you and seen you." See, the reason why you're not sure if God hears you or sees you, it's because you're in a conversation where you are not aware of the other being. So really what this is this is a perspective shift. You're looking at it from the wrong perspective. The whole purpose of the book of Genesis, the entire purpose of the entire Bible, from the very first verse and chapter in Genesis 1 all the way to the very last chapter and verse in the book of Revelations, comes down to what we're talking about right now. When the serpent tricked us into eating of the forbidden fruit, which is the tree of knowledge, which is your logical brain, it means you got so shamed, because what happens? Immediately afterwards, the serpent convinced them, "Oh, you're naked." Well, in chapter 2, the very last verse 25, Genesis 2:25, it says they were naked and they were ashamed, and they covered up with fig leaves. Whereas before, in the chapter 2, Genesis verse 25, they were in the Garden of Eden with God, and they were learning and training and practicing and developing and growing like art class. And it said they were naked and they were not, N-O-T, not ashamed. And all of a sudden the serpent comes along and says, "Hey, by the way, just to let you know that you're naked." And they're like, "What's naked?" "Well, what you are." He's like, "Well, what are we?" And he had to explain, he had to teach them what that meant, because he made up a word called naked. And then he said, "And that's wrong and that's bad. You should be ashamed." So do you want to know what shame is? Guilty is you feel bad about what you did. Feeling shame is feeling that you are bad. See, the whole Bible comes down to one thing. It clearly says they were in the garden with God, and it said, "And they were naked and they were not ashamed," meaning that was very normal. There was no word for being naked until the serpent comes along in chapter 3, convinces them that you're naked. Now What happens when you get shamed emotionally? Your right brain is the emotional processor. You feel it in your heart, in your chest, your belly, and your body. They stab you, stab you, stab you with shame, and then you close the door to your right brain. Thus, you disconnect from God. That's what the entire Bible is all about. That's what this entire experience is all about. This is the original sin and the only sin. You have to understand, narcissists are the same thing that we call in the book of Genesis the serpent. Same thing, but they changed the name so they could hide. For those of you who have suffered true narcissist abuse where they shamed you so much it's like you disconnected, you went to this dark world, it was black or white, and you felt like you were disconnected from God, that was the goal. The whole goal, okay, so let's go back to the book of Genesis. They ate of the forbidden fruit. The serpent convinced them, oh, you're naked, you're ashamed, cover up. So they covered up with fig leaves. In the very next verse, it says God came into the garden the cool of the day or the cool of the morning or whatever. And it says, and they hid. The fig leaves is symbolic of hiding from God, hiding from your emotions. And then God said, Adam, Eve, where art thou? And Adam said, we are hiding from God. And then God says, why? And Adam says, because we're naked. And then God says, who told you that you were naked? Interesting, huh? Anyone who shames you, even if it's not about the Bible or God, that's evil. They are of the dark one. Shame is not from God. Shame is from the demons. The demons, the narcissists, are trying to get you to hide from God, to disconnect from your right brain. See, the right brain is the emotional, creative, spiritual brain. It's the open door to God. Your emotions is how you connect with God. Your emotions is your heart. This is what God is all about. It's about love. It's about compassion. It's about living life, the five senses. The right brain is about the five senses: see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. It's about the tree of life. That's the right brain. The entire goal of the narcissist, serpent / demon is to disconnect you from God, to close you off from your right brain, thus hiding from God. A long time ago, before I even made this connection, I noticed a lot of my male clients, when they came in, I would teach them this internal awareness techniques, which opens you up to God. It opens you up to spirit, your right brain, the emotional, creative, spiritual brain. I became very keenly aware, at least 20 years ago or so, that men hide behind logic from their emotions so they don't feel emotional pain. But it's not just men, especially in the year 2026. More and more women are very logical because you're hiding from your emotions. And this is what makes people toxic. This is literally toxic masculinity. It's not just a male thing. There's a lot of women walking around living in toxic masculinity, hiding from their emotions behind their logic. This is what it means when it said, and they hid. God calls out, and Adam says, we're hiding. They're hiding from God. They're hiding from spirit. They're hiding from truth. This is why we sacrificed the animals back in the biblical days. Kill an animal, now we can open back up to God. Well, a week later, they closed up again. Got to kill another animal. And then what they did, they made a bunch of rules. So, well, if you break this rule, you're a sinner, so we got to kill another animal. Well, we've got some more rules. We're going to make some more rules. You're a sinner, you're going to hell. Oh, we're going to kill a bull. We're going to kill a freaking bird. We're going to kill a pigeon. We're going to kill something beautiful and pure. And that's the whole thing. And even Jesus was the pure, spotless sheep. Because you couldn't bring a sheep to slaughter. It had to be a perfect sheep. It had to have perfect linen or perfect wool. It couldn't have a spot or be dirty, be crippled, or have something wrong with its skin. It had to be pure and perfect. In other words, an innocent lamb that did nothing to nobody. So let me get this straight, you demonic worshipers. We're going to kill something that's innocent to make you purified? Wow, that's some narcissistic, demonic thinking there. You don't give fruit to God, tithe the fruit or vegetables or whatever that's dirty and it's not very healthy. No, you have to have the perfect fruit. The top 10% of your fruit has to go to God, has to be pure. Here's the point of all of this. You were never supposed to hide from God. And you're not a bad person because a narcissist hurt you and got you stuck in your logical brain. It just means that you're disconnected from God. What we need to do, we need to heal your shame and heal your guilt and heal your hurt so you can now open back up to your right brain. My internal awareness techniques teach you how to reopen. Jesus was supposed to be the final sacrifice, this final scapegoat. We're going to blame Jesus because of what you did. You didn't really do anything. God loves you. God just wants you to open back up to God. Someone came along, a narcissist, and shamed you and stabbed you emotionally over and over till you closed up your heart because it hurt your heart, because every time you'd open up they'd stab you and it stung and it hurt, and you finally slammed that door closed because you're trying to protect your emotions. And in and of itself, that's not a bad thing. The bad part is it disconnects you from God, and now narcissists can manipulate you because it puts you in the dark and you're blind. You're not connected to your seat. Why does the narcissist do this? Ultimately to disconnect you from God, because that's your intuition. You're also disconnected from your five senses, meaning you can't hear as well, you can't see as well. Everything's narrow like you're looking down a tube, and therefore narcissists can manipulate you. Everything in the Bible comes down to that one verse, eating of the forbidden fruit and then hiding from God. Let me make it crystal clear, so simple, you can't miss it. The goal of the evil ones, the dark ones, the narcissists, the demons, the serpent, is to close you off from God, disconnect you from God. The goal of Jesus, the goal of God, the goal of me is to open you back up. That's what this is all about. That's what this video is about. That's what Crack the Female Code is about. That's why my book, Why Men Just Don't Get It, is about. Everything that I teach comes down to this one single thing: opening you back up. The dating and relationship coaching courses are all about opening men up. Why? Because the female mating system is designed to look for a man who's open, because now he's led by God. That's a self-led man, because he's listening to his heart, to his emotions and feelings, which is where God communicates to you from. When you're ready to open up, get a hold of me. What we can do is we can work the internal awareness techniques. We can teach you how to ground yourself. We can teach you how to open up. We can teach you how to be more and more in tuned and internal, to expand and to be more aware and more emotionally grounded, to reconnect. People are running around with their head, like chicken with its head cut off, going, oh, I'm trying to find God, I'm trying to reach God. Well, let me show you how. You have no excuse now that you've listened to this video. That's what my techniques are all about. It's like it says in this video or this image, if you see through the illusion, you are a part of the solution. That's what the internal awareness techniques are all about. Waking you up so you can see through the lies, through the illusions, through the tricks. Meditation, deep breathing, stretching for long periods of time, 30 minutes to an hour, meditating, praying for long periods of time, all will open you up, including my internal awareness techniques. These are forms of clearing your mind, clearing your heart, so you have clarity. So there's nothing going on inside, so you can hear and see and know God. If you want, go ahead and get a hold of me at mike@mikekollin.com, or you can call me at 415-235-2512. That's it, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.